In this video, we're going to look at ways of talking about present and past ability. So things that you can do now and things that you could do in the past. We're going to look at three different ways of talking about this. We're going to use the verb can, be able to, and manage. So let's take them in turn and see when we can use them and how we can use them. So the first one we're going to look at is can. We use can to talk about general ability. So this is something that in the general scheme of the world you can do. You don't have to be able to do it at this moment, but in general we could say that you can do it. So a good example of this would be cooking. So a positive statement to this would be I can cook. Now can is a modal verb, which means that you add it into the sentence as well as the main verb, and it doesn't change. So we'll take our positive statement here. You need to have your subject, you need to have can or can't, and then you need to have your main verb in the base form. So because it's a modal, it doesn't change. So I can cook, you can cook, he can cook, Bob and Sheila can cook, the dog can cook. No, the dog can't cook. This is your negative, can't. So this change, it stays the same. It doesn't matter who's doing it, it's always can. To make a question, you need to invert your subject and can. So you need to have can and then you, or me, or he, or she, or the dog. So this is your subject here. I don't know what that says. Subject. And then your main verb. And so we're talking about general ability, things that you in general are able to do now. If we want to talk about things in general that you can do in the past, then we need to change can for its past form, which is could. And it follows exactly the same structure. So you need your subject, then you need could, then you need your main verb. Or you can have couldn't if it's something you can't do. Couldn't is a contraction of could not. So if you want to be more formal, you can say could not. And then again, your question, you need to invert your subject and your modal verb. So fairly straightforward. Next one I want to look at is be able to. Now we use this one to talk about a specific ability, so a particular thing now. Or if we want to be formal, we can talk about general abilities. So for example, if you're going to apply for a job, in your job application letter, you're going to say, I was able to organise a team of 20 people, not I could. Or you could say, I am able to I am able to arrange my time, not I can arrange my time. So it's just a more formal way of saying something for general ability, or it's the way we use to talk about specific ability. So some examples. I'm able to go tomorrow. So this is talking about generally now, but tomorrow is quite close. So we can still use it about the future. I mean, you could say I will be able to go tomorrow, but actually we would more usually say I am able to go tomorrow, because we're talking about how we feel now about something that's going to happen. So for our present tense statement, we want to have a subject, then we need to have be here, and it needs to match your subject for this one. So we've got am, are, or is. We follow that by able to, and then we want to have the verb that's happening, the main verb in your sentence. So we need to know what it is you're able to do. You can't just say I'm able to tomorrow. We need to know what you're able to do tomorrow. So you could say it as an answer. Are you able to go tomorrow? Yes, I'm able to. But we need to know the verb. So either you refer to the verb or you have to state the verb in your sentence. Negatives are slightly different. You have two choices. So you can either be not able or you can be unable. They both mean exactly the same thing. This prefix un means the same as not. So it takes a word and it makes it negative. And because we've got the verb be to make our question, we have to swap over be and subject. Now, because we're using be in this one, to make it in the past tense, we just use the past simple form of be, which is was or were. So we just turn it into the past. I was able to go shopping. I was unable to have lunch. I wasn't able to have lunch. Were you able to go last week? So this is how we make it in the past. We make it was or were. To make it negative, again, we do the same. We can be unable or we can be not able. If we're going to say I wasn't able, this is your contraction of not. Right, and the final one that I want to look at today is manage. Now, manage is a verb that we're just going to treat all on its own. Okay, so it's the main verb now, but we still need to have a secondary verb to go with it to tell us what you managed or otherwise to do. So for this one, manage, we use it to talk about something that's a bit difficult. There has to be a possibility that it didn't happen, that you were unable to do it. So we talk about things that are difficult. So for example, I usually manage to run every day. So some days it's a bit difficult, some days my children are sick, some days the dog escapes, some days I have to go to work, some days I'd just rather lie in bed and so I don't go for a run. But usually I do manage to go for a run every day. So this is a general ability, but it can be a bit difficult. I don't manage to go to the gym every day. I try, but every single day, nah. Sometimes the dog's thrown up on the carpet, or you've had a row, or you had too much to drink the night before, or whatever, you don't go to the gym. So you try, but sometimes it's a bit difficult, and so I don't manage to go every day. I do manage to run most days, I do manage to go to the gym most days, but I don't manage to do it every day. And then again, the question, do you manage to see them often? They might live, maybe your grandchildren or your children or your parents, they live a very long way away. And so getting to them is not easy, but you try and you manage to see them quite often. So manage here is its verb all on its own. So you need to have a subject, leave usually out for the moment, and then manage. So manage has to match the subject. So I manage, you manage, he, she, it manages, or they manage. So manage or manages has to match your subject. And then after that, we need to have an infinitive. So a full infinitive of the verb. To run, to go, to see, to eat. Do you manage to eat lunch every day? No, some days I'm working very hard and I don't have time to stop. So because we're treating manage as a verb on its own, to make it negative, we need to use don't. And to make a question, we need to use do. So just like every other verb, but this one is talking about things that are difficult that we can do. So if we want to make this in the past, because we're treating this as just a perfectly normal verb, we just need to change do. So in our negative, do or don't becomes didn't, and do becomes did. And because it's just a normal verb, it's a past simple. So subject, past simple form of the verb, infinitive. I usually manage to run every day. I managed to run yesterday. I didn't manage to climb the mountain. It was really, really high, but I'm hoping to do it next week. Did you manage to paint your bedroom? Yes, I did. I managed to paint the bedroom. Didn't manage to paint all of the bedroom, but I did manage to paint most of the bedroom. So manage is something that is a little bit difficult, but we are able to do it or not able to do it for whatever reason. So we need manage plus a verb. So we need to know what it is that you managed to do. You can't just say, I didn't manage. You have to know what. You didn't manage to climb, didn't manage to paint, didn't manage to finish, did manage to see. So you have to have a full verb afterwards. And that's it. That's can, that's be able to, and that's manage, to talk about things that you are able to do both now and in the past.